Good morning, everybody. It is... do I know what time it is? I know what time it is. 7:29 on this Monday, the 30th day of April in 2018. Hope you all had a wonderful weekend and a safe weekend and a relaxing weekend. Hopefully you weren't stuck flooring your bedroom all weekend. That's what I did. And then I neglected to account for the square footage of the closet. So a little short on the flooring. I gotta go pick some more up. Oops. Oh well. Okay, let's take a peek at our markets this morning and have a quick rundown. Just closing some of those out. Oops, don't need that. Go away. I put in a couple trades earlier this morning. The first one was on going short on the euro at 120.87 and then long on the dollar yen at 109.30. And you know, we've had a pretty good run on our trades for the last few weeks. And last week was a good week as well. Expecting to see kind of a slowdown in some of those fast-moving markets, but it looks like we're going to have kind of a continuation of those moves. So let's take a peek at the activity that we had. So Friday we had a few trades. We wanted to go long on the New Zealand dollar on Friday if we had a close, if long and still above 173.01, or sorry, that's not right. Why did I say 7301? What was I looking at? I was looking, oh, that's weird. Don't know what I meant there. That wasn't right. Oh well. The gold, we wanted to go short at oh man, I had all the numbers written wrong there. I had 1.1317. I think I meant 1317. Yeah, that's what I did mean. So we wanted to go short at 1317 because we would break below this important Gann angle here, and that's currently where we have broken down. Slight recovery over the day, and kind of got halted at that mid here, which is where we want to face that resistance, and then we faced resistance here as well. So nice fall through in price. It's been very good. And then the US dollar, Canadian dollar, we wanted to go long. All my things got messed up here. We want to go long at a break and hold above 129.03. We have not had that. That is still an active trade. We should probably, we're actually going to revise that. We're going to go long at a return to 128.84. Okay. And then, yeah, so let's take a look at all of these trades we've got. Gosh, my glasses are filthy. And holy crap, it has been so nice. That was so weird. I mowed yesterday, and I was just thinking, like a week and a half ago, there was 18 inches of snow on the ground. But it was 70 degrees yesterday, and it's supposed to be 80 today. So we don't get really a spring here in South Dakota. So a lot of years we get winter that goes right into summer. Just bam, just like that. Okay, let's kind of go through these markets. Let's check out the Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar, if you remember, we've had just this beautiful capitulation in price ever since this fall through here, and back in January, the end of January, and we continue to fall down and retrace. And we're pretty much trading, but we've fallen down from the 5/8 upper range trading harmonic. So this is a major harmonic, and then all the way down to the mid range between the two major harmonics, the others well below here. And so the mid here we have sitting at 75 even. This should be treated as a strong support zone once we get down here. You know, the issue with, I don't know if we're going to entertain a lot of trades on the Aussie dollar this week, just because even though there may be some setups happening, is it just looking at this, gosh. I mean, the thing is it's more than likely they're going to hit 75, so why wouldn't you just short it? I mean, actually, we're probably in a good condition for shorting still. Yeah, let's short below 73, 75.36. So once it gets down to that level, got my trade in there set up for that. Because certainly once we get down to 75, we should expect a couple of scenarios, either a pretty violent bounce, or we should see a pretty strong sell-off through it before it finds some support at probably this inner pivot. So we're looking, you know, from that 75 area, we're looking about 250-ish pips lower below 75 before we see a technical and structural bounce from that level. So that would be a pretty normal thing to play out. Let's look at so really, Yeah, the pound dollar. We should see maybe a little bounce here because this is a longer term uptrend line. Okay, because we have this. This has been probably one of the best. This has been honestly the best traded year that we've had so far. Getting short at the turn of that market has been a fantastic and awesome area to go short. And now we are, on this is a major 3/8 level. This is a very, very strong support and resistance zone. So this should act as a strong support zone. And if it doesn't, if 137.5 doesn't hold, then we will more than likely fall below this trend line. Okay? But if I'm looking at this on the daily, we are very, very heavy into oversold. Once this guy curls up from this level on the composite index, we should be looking to move higher. On the weekly, though, we've really just kind of begun. The weekly is a pretty telling chart. And then on the monthly itself, we have only just begun on the monthly as well. The monthly chart is telling us that we've only just started a move, and it looks like we are setting up a bearish engulfing candlestick on the monthly. Now, we've only got today left, but we already have a lower low than last month, and if we can close below the open of last month, that's going to be a pretty bearish signal. And that is a signal that we certainly should be trading, because if we want to trade this, we're looking at a break below 137. That is the level we're sitting at and the level we need to break below. We could see another just absolute capitulation of price from this trend line and down, but we'll want to see how this plays out first, because we should maybe see some type of structural bounce here, possibly back up to 138.55. I'd be looking to go short again there. Otherwise, if we get a break and hold below this level, that's the areas we're looking at. We're looking at a short on a pullback up here, or on a trade down and a retest, and short on a failure of that retest. So just keeping our eye out on the pound dollar. New Zealand dollar, again, that's been a fantastic trade. On the weekly, looking a little extended, but certainly still in conditions for moving down. On the monthly, we have good conditions for moving down still. This bear flag set up, and we could certainly see a lot lower moves. Definitely a lot lower moves. Essentially, we're looking at, on the monthly chart, we're looking at some full off long-term bear moves in the Aussie dollar, any dollar, any pair that is against the dollar is going to be having a rough time. The dollar yen on the daily is a little extended. Let's look at it on the weekly. This is getting a little dangerous for me, because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're on our 6th week here, showing of an up move. So that's getting a little extended for yours truly. But the thing is on the monthly, this is a pretty nice setup. Just look from, we opened at 106.28, and now we're at 109.31. So we've had 300, a little bit over 300 pips of price movement between the open of the month and the close. And if we look at the 2 months prior, if we look at February, we have really engulfed the entire open and close of that month. And we have a really bullish setup here showing a pivot candlestick where the candlesticks outside the center one, there are higher lows than the middle and higher highs than the middle. So that's considered a pivot candlestick, and we should see prices rise from this zone. So there, there's a lot of natural resistance coming up, and on the weekly itself, we are looking really a little overextended. But sometimes that doesn't matter. I mean, we can look at any type of past price move where you've seen such dramatic rises, but we haven't yet experienced a lot of that divergence yet. So, a good example is we have prices moving up here and they just moved higher, but the composite index is moving lower. So, and that's on a weekly chart. So, I mean, that's just gotta be aware of those things. And on the daily, again, we're showing some overextended conditions. However, that doesn't matter because we've been in such a down move for over a year, or almost a year. Yeah, over a year we've been in a down move in the dollar yen that a rise is expected. It's been a pretty swift one too. So the dollar yen, that long at 109.30 from this morning, that's still there and still active. Let's look at the dollar index. I was talking about the dollar index last week because it's in a spot where I get nervous, where it's sitting right now. So we are at selling conditions in the composite index. We are in a default overbought condition on the RSI, and we are at a square in price and time right here. And this either acts as a swift reversal zone or a strong continuance. So this today is a very, very important zone. In fact, I've got to draw I've got to put a level here. Why is that? That's not right. There we go. The fact that we're above this 45, that's a pretty interesting signal. We certainly don't want to sell off below it, but we gotta keep our eyeballs peeled. This is a pretty dangerous area that we're at. Now, going over to US dollar, Canadian dollar. So we could be setting up for a long here, like I was saying, at a return to 122 or 128.84. We're talking about crossing back above this arc, and we are at a pivot in time and price coming up here on the 9th. So be aware of that. Depending where price is at, if we end up here or we end up here, again, this is a contentious zone in time. Okay, very contentious zone in time. Dollar shares don't really have anything on there. EU, RAUD, I know we've drawn a chart on this guy. Talking about a continued drive down. Still below the arc, not seeing a trade. Again, there's another pivot in time and price coming up here. Yeah, just kind of looking at, let's kind of go through just a monthly analysis of, or analysis of the monthly charts. Let's clear these all out. Let's start at the Aussie dollar, Canadian dollar. Sure, why not? That's a lot of volume. Aussie yen. Nothing. Do I have stuff drawn on this one? I don't. I should draw stuff on there. I should do one of those each day on a chart. I don't have anything drawn on it. Aussie dollar, US dollar. I mean, there's a really dangerous zone. Gosh, this is. Let's look at it over here. Here's this weekly of the Aussie dollar. And here's this down move. There's nothing below. In fact, oops. Yeah, if I, even if I scroll out, this is the entire price history of the Aussie dollar. There is, as we go, if we get below 74.85, there is nothing. There's a whole bunch of nothing below us. This is a bear flag. This is a bear flag of bear flags. I mean, it is a ugly, ugly condition for the Aussie dollar to be in. There is inherent weakness shown in this chart. This is a textbook bear flag. And that we have crossed below and held below on the weekly. And even tried to test above it again. I mean, this is dangerous zone. Here we are on the daily. We've completely engulfed so far. Now we've still got a lot of day left. I mean, we have what? Let's say it's 8 o'clock. We have like 8 hours left of the trading day. So this could change, but I mean, we are getting close to a pretty ugly signal here on the Aussie dollar. Observe this right here. Look at that volume bar. Now, I don't know what the conditions were that there was so much buying right there, but it wasn't enough. There was a lot of buy volume on that day, but it was not enough to do anything. What day was that? Was that the 2nd of this month? Is that right? No, that was the 30th of last month, 3:30. Well, from here it looks like a lot of selling, but lots of volume here. I don't remember if there was some news article out about this or not, but whatever the reason is, it's not good. Not a good area. Gosh, on the weekly, this looks really ugly. So we're still in this day, but beginning of the week. Gold. Now, gold I have drawn over here. Looking at lower prices just based on that. And we have this triangle here with this upwards trend line. That's not really an upwards trend line. But we should look to see what happens if price breaks this structure on the monthly, on the weekly. Looking ugly on the weekly. Very, very ugly on the weekly. However, there is supportive conditions for a bounce. If we look at the daily here. Why is this? That was weird. This is a pivot in time and price at 1282.68. Is price going to get down there? That'd be a pretty swift move. That'd be a pretty big move. Gold can certainly do that, though. I mean, it could fall down that direction very easily. We'll have to see, though. I mean, right now we're sitting up with a pretty bearish engulfing candlestick here. Have to want to be careful about our short-term outlook. So because we have, we're looking at the monthly and the weekly charts, so they're all indicating lower prices. And the Gann was big on saying that, you find a lot of setups on monthly and weekly charts, and mostly on weekly charts. Like, I really like weekly charts. I think weekly charts show you the best setups and the most profit. And if you put a lot of risk into your weekly chart setups, you're going to yield some big rewards. The timing is of course always the difficult part, because a weekly chart, there's a lot of stuff that happens inside a week. I mean, we see the ranges traded within a weekly chart can be big, 300 to 500 pips. So you got to be you got to be careful how you enter in those kind of trades. But weekly, and to some degree monthly, but mostly weekly charts will determine your intraday trading bias. So it should be very easy to look at a weekly chart and say to yourself, okay, if I'm looking at the weekly chart here, we're obviously sloping down. We're not in a strong buying condition yet. Let me find a different one. The euro dollar is way overdone. Oy. Maybe we've already had all those moves. All right, well, we can say, remember when we went short up here that we had like these 7 weeks up, and so we had this drive down, and then our bias changed from kind of long to neutral to being short. And why were we short? Well, it's based on the weekly. So a lot of the trades that we've been taking on the Aussie dollar, almost all of them, have been short trades, taking short positions, because the weekly chart determines our intraday bias. And I think for traders that helps a lot with when you're looking at a chart throughout if you're looking at an intraday chart and you know that on the weekly that you have a long-term, or on the weekly chart you're looking at going short over on a weekly chart, but prices keep going up on a daily chart. Well, that sometimes gets rid of that kind of fog of war where it's like, okay, is the trend reversing? Probably not. You're probably just experiencing a pullback or a deeper pullback, and that makes the next short entry that much better. Okay? So, those are all things to look at and see if you can actually help your anxiety of trying to identify a trend if you can do it off of a weekly. And also, if there's not a clear turn in kind of any direction on a weekly chart, it can make trading either really easy or really excuse me, really difficult on your intraday charts, because you can be stuck in a range trade, and range trades are perfectly appropriate for ping-ponging back and forth. But again, looking at all these charts on the weekly, we're in such important zones in time and price that we should expect some increased volatility this week. We could get some deeper pullbacks later on. That's actually, like, honestly what I'm kind of seeing here is that we should see some 50% retracements in these deeper moves, like in gold, in the pound, certainly on the dollar yen. We should see some pullback, and we should look forward to that pullback, because then we can get back into those trends and go long or short again. And so we have a few setups right now on that I put in on the euro, the dollar yen, US dollar, Canadian dollar, the loonie, and the Aussie dollar, US dollar. But other than that, when we're reviewing all of our long-term charts, this euro is looking pretty bearish. However, gosh, I tell you, I'm a counter trend trader. Even though I like deep trend reversals, I do like to trade counter trend. So there may be a short-term trade here for going long on the daily. This is one of those things where you trade something enough and you analyze it enough that you kind of get a feeling for how it moves, and it's like you get used to kind of rhythm or the pulse of the movement of an instrument the longer you trade it. And I've been trading the euro dollar for a long time, and to me this is looking pretty bouncy. Like we may get a pretty nice bounce off the euro dollar. In fact, even on the daily, we already have a pivot set up here where we have higher lows and a higher high already. So there's a part of me that is cool even going long here now with my stop below the low. I think I'm going to take that. We go yeah, I kind of like that little short-term setup there. Might see some profit taking here. We'll see. Gotta make sure my stop is in there. Got it. We'll see how that plays out. It should play out pretty nicely. Anything else, though? Not really seeing anything else that we really need to get all sorts of excited about right now. Or where's the pound dollar? Wow, that guy's a little extended. That's pretty nuts. From 86.80 all the way up to 8,800. That's a pretty in one day. Holy crap! What is that? Okay, the low was at 86.82 to 88.04. That's a pretty crazy drive up. 121 pips. Big. All right. Well, those are our trades. That's kind of looking at our markets, and Mondays are kind of meh. Not a whole lot that goes on all the time. So let's just kind of keep an eye on that on these markets. Look for some pullbacks going into the week here, and then a continuation later on again. And yeah, hope you guys had a great week last week. Hope you had a great weekend. We're gonna have a fantastic week this week too. Lots of fun trading opportunities going to show up, both long side and the short side, and hopefully we're gonna be able to capitalize on a lot of those moves. So yeah, you guys have a great Monday, great start to your trading week, and I will visit with you tomorrow. Bye bye.